Planet Dolan.
What shoe company ripped off not only a competitor's designs, but also its charity drive? What Diet Cola predates Diet Coke by 25 years and became the reason for them changing their recipe? From candies to video games, here are 10 companies and products that took their ideas from competitors and made a fortune doing it.
Hi there, my name is Doopy and I'm here to tell you some really interesting things that you might not have heard before.
Number 10. In 1947, a man named Ole Kirk Christensen, the founder of the Lego toy company, bought a plastic mold injection machine. One of the things the salesman showed off was his ability to create a kittycraft playset. This is a set of plastic bricks with little notches on top that could be locked together to build things. Christensen saw that product demo for kittycraft blocks, which had already existed for 8 years, and had an amazing idea. That idea was to start making the exact same types of blocks, sell them under a different name, and just not worry about copying. That strategy led Lego to be one of the biggest toy companies in the world, and Kittycraft went out of business and its owner died penniless. But don't worry, Lego made sure to buy what was left of Kittycraft, just to say they were the true originator of the blocks when they sue everyone else for copyright infringement. Number 9. Kickstarter and crowdfunding are so intertwined at this point that the terms are basically used interchangeably. Even if a project is on a different crowdfunding platform, we usually talk about kickstarting the project. But Kickstarter didn't even start the idea of crowdfunding. First off, this is basically just a modern version of the arts patronage model, where artists dating back as far as Mozart would go directly to their audiences to fund their work. But also, Indiegogo launched a year earlier than Kickstarter, with effectively the exact same business model. Kickstarter even charges the same 5% fee as Indiegogo. And while Indiegogo is still around, Kickstarter is still the standard bearer for internet crowdfunding projects. Number 8. Oh, big shock, Diet Coke ripped off Coke, right? Does that even count as a copycat product? No, actually it doesn't. That's not what we're talking about here. We're also not talking about Diet Coke ripping off Tab, Coke's diet soda that was basically replaced by Diet Coke. No, we're actually talking about Diet Right, the Diet Cola introduced in 1958 by the Royal Crown Co. Not only does Diet Right predate Diet Coke by 25 years, but Diet Coke actually changed its sweetener blend from a saccharin blend to 100% aspartame after Diet Right started advertising that they'd done the same. Number 7. Tom's shoes became famous both for their style and for their charitable mission. For every pair of shoes they sell, they also provide a pair of shoes to a child in need. Skechers saw that and decided it sounded like a great idea, especially since Tom's earned quite a bit of good press on their model. So they introduced Bob's Shoes, a brand that just copies Tom's step for step. The designs of the shoes are extremely similar, right down to the location of the tag and the logo being written in all caps. And they even have the exact same charity model, donating a pair for every sale. They were blasted for the blatant ripoff, but Bob's are still on sale, and Skechers is still a billion-dollar company, so it's clearly doing well enough. Number 6. ShamWow is better known now as a meme than an actual product, but it was real and it was a copycat. Now, ultimately, the ShamWow is just an absorbent cleaning towel. That's nothing really new, but they weren't even the first super absorbent towel to be sold in an infomercial. The Zorbies was an identical product pitched years earlier by the late Billy Mays. And not only was the product nearly the same, so was the actual ad itself and the style of Pitchman Vince Offer. Years later, Offer would introduce the Slap Chop, a blatant ripoff of Billy Mays' Quick Chop. Number 5. For a while there, Zynga became a hugely profitable company simply by creating phone-based versions of games that already existed. The most notable of these, Words with Friends, was just a version of Scrabble that people could pass turns back and forth with. One of the company's most successful games, Farmville, was itself a copycat off of Farmtown, an earlier and eerily similar game. Zynga's entire legacy is to copy existing games and rename them, but it it never got worse than the time they had the gall to sell a physical board game version of Words with Friends. Number 4. Oreos are one of the most popular cookies in the world, and they've been around for a long time. Naturally, they have spawned any number of knockoff competitors and cheap store brands. If you ever saw Hydrox cookies on the shelf, you might have thought they were one of them. But no, Hydrox cookies were invented 4 years earlier than Oreos by the Sunshine Baking Company. Oreos obviously went on to be the more successful brand, probably in part because they didn't share their name with that of a chemical company selling hydrogen peroxide. Number 3. Aldi is a chain of discount retailers that operates on 2 distinct principles. The first is to blatantly rip off name brand items. The second is to frequently improve upon them. Nearly every Aldi store brand has a parallel to a major, heavily marketed brand, but the quality isn't generally too different. That's the model Aldi has ridden to become one of the biggest discount grocery chains in the world. Number 2. Okay, before this starts some kind of war, let's establish some things. Fortnite and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds are distinctly different games, and this isn't to say that Fortnite is somehow a worse game for coming second. Quite the opposite. Fortnite took the concept introduced by PUBG and drove it to new heights. PUBG became an overnight success despite being unfinished and unpolished to start, because it introduced the gaming world to a brand new genre. But Fortnite took that genre, added some new mechanics and polish, and became the biggest game in the world. The similarities are undeniable, but so are the differences, which is why PUBG's copyright infringement lawsuit against Fortnite went nowhere. Number 1. The packaging for Whoppers bills them as the original malted milk balls. Thing is though, they're pretty much lying. When the Hershey Company first introduced Whoppers in 1949, Maltesers had been out in the UK for 12 years. Forrest Mars introduced the candy to England in 1937. 4 years later, he would come back to the US and introduce M&Ms, which he based on a candy he'd discovered in Spain.
What? Did you know that we have a countdown book featuring some of our best scripts on sale now? Links down below for the physical and ebook versions.
Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.